I'm your host, Djmadamk. Why am I still clapping? All right, guys, so I'm here with the amazing Amy Brock.
Hi, y'all. So good to say hello and be in the house. I'm excited.
I know. I'm so excited to have you here. You don't understand. Like, I know my face is like...
You're amped. That's
right,
for sure.
I am.
You're amped. I like it.
All right, so tell us what you do. Everybody, I know you guys keep hearing me say spiritual intuitive. So what does that mean to you?
Sure. So spiritual intuitive is likened to a medium, which basically means I'm a sensitive. I connect to the invisible world that is all around us at all the time.
Okay, so do you have a specific religion?
You know, I was raised from a Christian background. I was actually raised Mormon, and I still identify very strongly with that. But yeah, spiritualism is kind of where I feel resigned to. I don't like to be in a box, but I have a strong connection to the Christian faith.
Right. Oh, so Mormon, what is that about?
You know, the LDS, the Mormons, you ever heard of that? The Missionaries, the Book of Mormon,
on
Broadway.
Okay, got you.
That's how I was raised. I came from a Mormon background.
All right, so are you like still heavily into the Bible, or you're just like...
I do believe in the Bible, absolutely.
You read your scriptures and you're just like, this is
I do a lot of prayer, meditation. I read scriptures. I have lots of resources that I go to for spiritual insight. So not just the Bible, but lots of things.
Do people ever attack you and like, oh, you can't be like this and be Christian?
You know, there's a lot of confusion with the Christian faith. There's a lot of extreme views of what is it like to be connected to God, and people think it has to look in this specific way. And I think that's why a lot of people kind of avoid or just kind of disingenuine with religion, because they feel that is oppressive. And so to me, it's about, you know, God is love, your connection to a higher self, whether you identify as God, the universe, love.
Right.
I don't really care what background you personally believe, but I hope that one of the things I can accomplish is letting people understand that there is proof that our spirits survive past this existence, and that there is a spiritual destination for all of us. And, you know, there's kind of a flow at which your soul, you know, is meant to go with, and kind of identifying for that. It doesn't have to look like my path. It's definitely your own. But that's where I just want to help you get in tune with who you are, so you can figure that out for yourself.
So I remember meeting with you back in May at the Mother's Day spa with Shayla. She hosted it with Lenny, and it was amazing. And you were there, and I was like crying after everything that she told me, because I wasn't ready. And then I told my sister about it, and she's just like, well, you need because you know God, he don't like that. So I got a couple of references here. So I'm gonna tell you all of them. I kind of like interpret it in my way.
Absolutely.
So John 4, verse 1, it says, "Test the spirits to see whether they're from God. False prophets have gone out into the world." Leviticus 20, verse 27, "A medium or spirits among you must be put to death." Job 7, verses 9 through 10, "If you're not where people are repenting, then you're hearing doctrine from a Jezebel." How does that make you feel?
Well, you know, it's interesting, because when I first was trying to accept my own gift, I definitely got some pushback, even from my own family.
Right.
They still don't even understand, what exactly are you doing? Is this of the devil? Like, you know, people think if it's not in this organized way, then it must be wrong. And you know, I just have to say that partly what I do is bringing people close to God, because we talk about that in the readings. We talk about the way at which you communicate to him. And I think those biblical references are referring to people who use mediums or psychics or intuitive guidance as a replacement for God, where they only rely on those people and they don't have their own ability to connect or don't desire to do it for themselves. They rather kind of pay someone, hey, tell me what to do. That's not what I'm supposed to, that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to be a replacement for your own spiritual connection to a higher being.
Right.
When that becomes the issue, when people, you know, there are people out there who manipulate people, they're vulnerable. That's a problem, but that's not at all what I'm doing.
That's what I was trying to tell my sister. I was like, she loved God. I was like, she loved God. Like I remember like we prayed before we even did. And I don't think many people get that experience when they're talking to psychics. Or you consider yourself psychic, definitely?
Actually, I prefer to be identified as a medium.
Okay.
I do, as a medium, you do work in a psychic capacity, which means you can connect with the individual. But a medium is working from a higher vibration where we connect with the other side, and we actually channeling people who've passed over. So our job is to prove there's a survival of the soul. And if it wasn't from God, you know, I see tremendous healing with what I do, and I feel like it's an honor that I get to do this work.
Right.
So,
I have so much more questions for you, but let's get into some more music right now on Madam Saturday Morning. Right now, we're sitting with the beautiful Amy Brock.
Oh, thanks, sweetie.
You so are.
To be here.
Even you know what's funny? Because I was talking to my friend earlier, and I was like, it's always people that are about like Jesus or God or whoever, whatever religion, and they have like this soft spoken, like, and they're just like, listen, if you want to do it, you can go ahead and do it. And I'm just like, I can't take people serious like that. Yeah. I feel like I always got to talk to somebody like this.
Exactly.
In order to
Let's get in. Let's go down. Let's get it. Let's do it. Let's get deep in the soul. You ready? You ready? I'm ready.
But you don't need to do any of that. You got it. You got it all for me. All right, guys. So we were talking before Destro started circling us around with Pizza Dot. So you had a boyfriend. And he texted you like, but so there's this verse I looked in the Bible and I can't be down with you anymore. Yeah. So how did you get through that?
You know, I just had to say that's him, not me. That's his issue. And I think everyone that we have in our life is a mirror of us, or a mirror version of our soul's condition and where we're trying to grow. And I think everyone we come in contact with is a teacher. So I felt in that moment, of course, I felt, a little betrayed and hurt. And the natural human side of me was to feel, gosh, challenge who I am and who I'm becoming. And I had to say, you know what? He just taught me that this is about acceptance for me. It's an acceptance of my soul's purpose. And I think in all of us in life are going to have challenges to our belief systems or who we have, claimed to the world we are. And I think that is where your intuition must step in, and you have to kind of put that to God, pray about it, look inside and say, you know what, where do I feel peace? And I can tell you this, I feel peace with myself, and he doesn't, which is why he wants to challenge mine. So I kind of was able to just separate from that and be like, he'll come around if that's our path. And if not, he taught me a great lesson that, who am I? Do I believe in what I am? Do I believe what I do? Because if I didn't believe and trust myself, then how could people trust me? Right. And how could I get the information from above and trust that?
Amazing. So, I hear you.
It's a constant challenge of trust. Do you still trust yourself in despite of? Okay. Because when I'm saying crazy details to somebody about something and it sounds the most astronomical thing, you can be like, this is absolutely crazy. Right. But then that ends up being that one thing that connects them to what they need to hear. Then you're like, okay, wow, I trusted that paid for me. So, right.
Yeah. I think even without being a medium, I want to say it right. I also say median and
medium,
but medium. That's something that you don't have to be a medium to know that. Like just accepting yourself and trusting your faith and being able to just do it. You know what I mean? Like, and when you accept yourself, then everybody else you can accept around you, and they can accept you for who you are, and respect that what's coming out of your mouth is your decision, your opinions, or your facts. Like, that's just something they have to, I don't want to say tolerate, but
right. Well, what you kind of brought the Bible verses today. You're bringing church up in this place, but we'll go ahead and talk about that for a second. One of the things in Scripture talks about fruits of people's labor, and I think when the fruits of labor for me are people are tearful or they have a healing moment or they feel connected to their soul, that to me shows there's something going on right here. Right. So that's to me is God. You see it in people's faces. That's reinforcement that what fruit am I producing when I'm connected to my highest being?
Do you see auras too?
Auras is a specific kind of thing that people do, but I see auras are energy. But the answer actually is yes, but it's a little bit more complicated than that.
So auras is more than colors and stuff, right?
Yeah,
I remember in high school there was this girl who said she could see my aura. Yeah, and I don't remember what color it was, but I was like, what color is it now? Like every time I saw her, I was like, is it still the same color? Yeah. Like, and I didn't know exactly what it meant, but I know my favorite color is purple, so I know what I wanted it to be.
Well, that's cool is if you connect with purple, that's the crown chakra, which is the highest level of consciousness, which connects you to God. So if you've got a lot of purple, that means you have a lot of self-enlightenment and you're on that path of consciousness. So, auras is basically we are spiritual beings, and in our physical house, we have also a spiritual house. So imagine that your aura or your energetic space is about 5 feet away from you, extends past you. And so in the room with someone, you're picking up their vibrations and vice versa because we're all energy. So that aura is the way in which we process the environment that we're in and how we connect with others and process information. And it's connected to different energy points in the body.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's kind of complicated. It's very scientific.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And I always end up reading up on it somewhere, trying to get it on YouTube. Somebody else explain it to me.
Take the aura picture. It's all fun. It's so much more than that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And you said you had a business for 9 years. What were you doing?
I still own a medical spa where we do, skincare massage, Botox, tattoo removal, fun things like that. So in an high-end aesthetic market.
So that's something you were into before?
Yeah.
You hit your... So was this always like, did you always feel this? Like all your life?
It's interesting. I've always been sensitive. Prior to owning a business, I actually have a background in mental health and counseling. So I was a counselor for many years. That was my college education was in. And then I moved into a medical spa as a business owner several years ago. But, it's something that I've always had. I just didn't have the vocabulary or understand the capacity by which I had. And there was a resistance because of the fear of, what does this mean? What is this? I don't know. This is confusing. In the religion I grew up in, it was the devil. So there was no one to help me to get answers.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you were younger, let's say like 10 years old, in the 5th grade, what was that like for you? Like, did you ever see anything or hear anything? Or was it like at night, like somebody would come in your room? It was really a spirit?
Yeah. The first memories I have are really like 3, 4. I'll just give you a quick story. Like, for example, my mom said I was like 3 years old. I would just cry profusely for my dad to come home. And my mom's like, I can't calm her. I don't know what it is. Please come home and see your daughter. I cried for like 2 hours. My dad came home. He held me for an hour, rocked me. And he went right back into his office and cut his fingers off with a chainsaw by accident. And so it was and he was gone for a week and a half in the hospital. And so it was like my body, my spirit knew something was going to happen to my dad, and I just wanted him and to connect with him before that happened. So that's a really interesting sensitivity that I had as a little girl, just precognitive kind of a thing. That's just an example.
All right, I got to hear another story, guys, but we got to get to some type of break because I can't just do this for 5 years, and Malcolm is going to kill me if I go over his recording time. All right, guys, you listen to Madam Saturday Morning right here on WKRB 90.3. Big Sean featuring Janae Aiko. I know on Madam Saturday Morning. What's going on, guys? Right here, we are with the beautiful Amy Brock. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold up. Pal.
Hi. Let's get to it. What else do you want to know?
Are your headphones are you good?
I think I'm good. Do I look cute?
Yeah, you look
okay.
You look gorgeous, girl.
Thanks.
You look gorgeous. All right, so of course we were talking. We're always talking. We can't stop, guys. I wish we were doing like some like behind the scenes kind of thing, but don't worry, we'll get pictures. They're gonna just have to figure out what we're trying to say in the pictures. So we were talking about boom, the Holy Ghost, right?
Yeah.
So we're in church, we're feeling it. I'm crying, she's crying, he's crying, and then out of nowhere he starts flipping out. Yeah. And he starts speaking in tongues. And, we were talking. You just said that's not one spirit. And I'm like, I totally agree. It has to be like 5 people.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of energy and spirits around us. The spirit world is actually here right with us. It's just in another dimension that we can't see with our physical eyes, but we can see with our spiritual eyes. My eyes happen to be, I think we're all intuitively sensitive. I just happen to be an opera version singer of the sensitivity. Some are karaoke singers. Some people are,
that's a great way to put
singers. We all have intuition and intuitive sensitivities. But yeah, I actually see them. So that's why I'm a clairvoyant dominantly. But
a clairvoyant. I heard
clairvoyant,
of that.
which means I physically see them,
right.
And I hear, and I'm an audience.
That's gonna sound bad, but this is gonna sound bad. But I heard about clairvoyant when I was watching American Horror Story. I think I was, and one of the girls were a clairvoyant.
Yeah, it just means she sees, she gets her information in a physical way, or she sees it mentally or in her mind. That's a visual.
Okay, cool.
That's what that means. But yeah. So as far as the Holy Spirits and those kind of situations, the Spirit, the Holy Ghost, my personal belief is there is definitely a Holy Ghost that's kind of the hierarchy or the authority. But I believe we all have a team of spirit guides that here to govern our lives and to help us meet our soul path. So when you're in church and you've got that Holy Ghost feeling, it's really strongly possible that there are other spiritual entities that are there kind of creating and assisting in filling that spiritual vibration or elevation.
Right.
But with everything in life, there needs to be boundaries, human and non-human. So you need to have boundaries with spirits as well as your physical friends, because everything must serve a purpose. Nothing should take us over. Nothing should ruin our life or run our life. They have to serve a purpose if they're there. And that's about learning or getting our soul's journey, our soul's development, that kind of thing.
And we were also talking earlier, we were talking about your 20s. I'm going to get in that soon.
Okay.
But in your 20s, usually you're partying, you're chilling, or whatever you're doing. Not necessarily me. But, everybody's different. So when you do go to parties, how do you turn it off?
I kind of do a visualization like a light switch. turn it off. I do, certain things to structure-wise to kind of envelope myself with light to kind of not feel the vibrations of everybody else's feelings. Because if you can imagine, as a sensitive, I pick up every person in the room.
And then some people are depressed, some people are joyful, some people are like...
It's not just me that does it. All of us. We're all energy. So you may have a headache and think it's yours, but it's actually the guy next to you. And you don't realize that. If you're highly empathic naturally, a lot of us have intuitive gifts. We just don't have an awareness of this language. So we just chalk it off to I'm having a bad day or I don't feel good or I got off on the wrong side of the bed. It's not true. I mean, there's an energetic force that's playing, which is why I have my shirt, May the Force be with you, because you have to understand the force that you're, interacting with every day.
So do you believe in the power of the tongue? You know how some people speak up, like you said, I have a headache. I spoke to my son's grandmother the other day, and I'm like, I'm tired, mami, señora, I'm tired, cansado. And she's like, okay, Angel, you always say you're tired. You know what God say, you keep saying you're tired, you're going to be tired all the time.
Right.
So do you believe in like the power of the tongue?
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to be really careful what you say because you will manifest it. And you don't understand the power of your intention. Intention, which, 10 years ago, The Secret, you remember The Secret was so big. Oh, what's The Secret? The secret is like attracts like, that whole scientific thing. It's true, but that's just the kindergarten beginning of what that means. I mean, the intention of, if my intention today is to be happy and to feel joy, you will track that in. If my intention today is to complain about everybody and be disgruntled about something, you're going to track that.
Right.
So the intention of by which you do things, I think, is the most powerful thing.
Right. And we're with the beautiful Amy Brock. So she ain't going nowhere because I'm making sure we still have way more to ask her, and we definitely got to get into this reading. Who is going to be read today? All right. So when you were in your 20s, I remember you saying that you went home, so many spirits were around you. You were like, okay, I got to go. I'm in my car. You're driving. And more spirits, were they following you?
Yeah, I was at home and it was late at night and I just was exhausted and I just felt these entities entering my bedroom and I was like, what the heck is this? And I, in your 20s when we're going through that experimental phase, I was dating this one, dating that one in the clubs, getting my groove on in Atlanta, Georgia. You know how the
ATL.
Like, what? A-Town down.
And she said A-Town down.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
I ran the streets of Atlanta for a minute. But, it's that moment where I was trying to get my life back with God and I was trying to not be out there, doing what we do in our 20s. And I just was like, okay, I'm going to get connected with God. And I was trying that week and I was trying to really be present and I just felt these spirits. So I was like, oh my God, it's the devil. It's after me. Oh. So literally it was so intense that I got in my car and I was like, one of them is I felt attached to my shoulder and I was like, I gotta go. Like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get away. And I got in my car and drove 4.5 hours home to Tallahassee. I was like, I just need my mom. And I was, 25, 26 at the time. And I was
gosh.
I felt it release, 2 or 3 hours in the trip. But it was just this extreme fear of what is happening to me. I'm going nuts and I just gotta feel safe. And that was one of the last occasions that I remember in my 20s. And then I think mentally I just like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm not going to be sensitive to it. I'm shutting myself down. And so it was a defense that came up and then I kind of cut it off.
Was that like your first experience with like spirits really like coming for you?
I had a lot of that going on in my 20s. I'd go to my church and ask them to come bless my home because I thought there was things going on. And at church, they're like, yeah, it's just that we don't know, but we'll come pray over the house. They didn't explain it proper to you. No one understands what this is. This is not conventional conversation.
Right.
So I just always thought it was something after me that wasn't good. That's what I always thought.
It's really like just you and God at the end of, like, it's really something you have to talk with God. You can't just talk. You can't talk to me about it, and like everything's going to be good. I was really
blessed. I think God puts people on your path to help you figure out your understanding of who you are. And I was after that the friend that I had called, who was a medium in California, Jennifer Schaefer. She became a mentor of mine.
Hey Jen.
Hey Jennifer. Hey, what's up? And I sent me down a path. So I ended up studying with some famous mediums and figuring out who I am and what my gift was. And I've been training. I'm actually in town right now to train with Tony Stockwell in trance mediumship up in Rhinebeck, New York.
Oh, if you guys don't know, she definitely works with WBLS, and you've been doing that since February.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
I write a spirituality blog, Live Inspire with Amy Brock, and I do sometimes go on the radio there and talk with Shayla, and we do readings. And
yes,
I
love Shayla.
She's awesome.
That's like my auntie in radio.
She's awesome. So yeah, and I'm actually going to do some Circles of Sisters work in October. So I read the audience.
And I'm definitely going to try to be in there for volunteering. Like I'm gonna hit up Shayla, like, hey, you need any help?
Yeah, no, definitely. So really cool opportunities for me to, get to connect with others.
This is great. All right. So before you go, we got to do a reading.
All right.
So look, Malcolm, you're going to have to put down that camera because you're going to have to come and get this work. Come and get this work. Say hey, Malchum.
Hey, Malchum.
All right, guys. So let's get into this. Do you need to spray anything? No, I remember last time.
I was just no. That was just clearing energy. No, we as long as Malcolm's ready, I'm ready.
Is there good energy here? Are there any spirits here?
I haven't particularly looked, but actually,
you don't have to look. It's fine. It's fine.
I have
this place
to
is really
click
old, so
in.
there's
Yeah, you have to. No, I know
like
you have to
click
turn
and
it
a
on.
perspective.
Look.
Yeah.
It's like you've got to put on like binoculars.
It's
and
my
then,
spiritual goggles. You can say that. I do spoogle.
Swear.
I spoogle it. Let's spoogle it. So at Google, we got spoogle.
All right, so I'm going to turn this music down.
Okay.
I can't turn the AC up because I don't control everything in here but this mic.
Exactly.
So, all right, go ahead, go get it.
All right, so we were talking a little bit outside earlier, and you had asked some romantic questions, and so, or we're inferring that that's something you want to learn about. So the person that you're with or you're interested in, let me take a look here. She really likes you, but you're not the only one. I feel like do you mind me sharing this?
No,
okay.
right.
I just want to make sure. I don't know if she's listening or whatever. But I feel like there's resistance on your part because you have a hard time with commitment. That's the first issue. And you don't trust your heart. You're actually highly, highly sensitive. You have a really sensitive spirit, actually, and you're very much a healer and you're a people pleaser, and so that gets you in trouble. So, if I can be frank, you kind of date bitches. Do you mind me saying that?
But okay,
yeah, or people that are difficult, and so it's one of those things that the more resistance someone gives you, the more you want them, because for you, you're very competitive at nature. So it's a matter of deciding, okay, whoever I'm supposed to be with, I just got to be me and relax into it. It's like you have a hesitation about saying what you really want. And so when I look at you, there's what we call our throat chakra, which is right here, which is where we communicate our truth. And it's really interesting because I know you're in the communication field. So you can communicate in a professional way because the communication is controlled, right? It's produced. It's controlled.
Oh my goodness. Go.
So you're safe with that.
Okay.
But when it comes to matters of the heart, you're a completely different person. You're pensive, you resist, you're fragile, you tiptoe delicately into that because emotions are hard for you to express because you're highly sensitive and you don't want to be exposed, which is funny and because the contrast is you're exposed all day in what you do professionally. So it's an interesting thing, but you like to be behind the doors and be the voyeur. But when it really comes to, hey, I'm here, I'm in this relationship, stand up and be with me, you kind of find people who don't do that with you. And that's your vibration because you really don't want it. You're scared the heck out of it. There's a resistance that you have. So, I feel like if you drop who you're dealing with right now, because that person's just not really ready and they're kind of playing games anyway, you'll find someone else in about 3 months that's going to cross your path and actually feel like you're going to walk by let's see, is it a bump on the road or is it like on a sidewalk? It's interesting. I see you in a store. I don't know if you have a store that you go and frequent and often nearby where you live. I see like a convenience store that you kind of are coming out of and you kind of like bump shoulders with someone. So that's a metaphor where you bump into them and it's a happy accident. And then they're showing me actually an image of you being like in a bookstore, like a Barnes & Nobles or something like that. And it feels like you will have a love of, it's funny, you're actually really introverted naturally at home. It's interesting. That there's a love of aloneness that you have. And I feel like when you meet that person, you will have that same share and joy. Where there's a place where, you know what, we don't have to be seen. We can just kind of be in our own little bubble and be happy. But you're not going to get serious for love for a while because you really want to focus on your career. But this person that's coming in...
I gotta go. I gotta get the hell out of here.
I was delicate.
No, but you just hit the nail on the head. On the head.
Can I talk now?
Sure.
Listen, girl.
Yo, like...
Wait, but hold up. Can I say, sexual orientation? He's gay.
I know, but I didn't know if I could say that on the air.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, say that and put
no,
him on
it's
Front
fine.
Street.
Yeah.
So that's
I was
why
like, when you said she, I was like,
but
Amy.
it's bad.
Okay, no, I got you.
You
as long
see?
as you know. As long as you know. All right, no, that was amazing.
I wanted to make sure because I didn't know if you want to put his stuff on.
So-
No, it's fine.
Okay.
So, okay. All right. Okay. You have anything else?
I'm being pulled to your mother. Do you mind me looking at your mom?
No, go ahead. Please.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Oh my God, no, I'm gonna cry. No,
Well,
don't pull to his mother.
Well, then go get a Kleenex or something. We need to
Okay,
work this out.
está bien.
Is it okay if I talk during this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel a heaviness about your heart regarding to her.
Okay, yeah, I just don't want a lot of dead air on the radio.
Yeah. No,
she's channeling
I'm just okay, so your mom has passed away.
No. Oh God,
okay.
no.
I was like,
you're channeling it. I'm just saying, so when people listen, it just sounds like dead
air. I was like, hold on, let me switch vibrations.
Oh God, please don't kill my mother.
No. I just want to make sure. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, let me switch. Hold on. No, your mother. If I can be honest with you, she's got a sadness about her, and I feel like she feels like her life has passed her by. And it's interesting. It feels like she lives her life through your eyes. And there's almost like a pressure for you to perform because you want to please her and make her proud. Because it's that magnitude of, gosh, I didn't really get to live the life that I wanted, but there's nothing more that she wants for you. And so there's a sadness where she didn't have that for herself, but I see her celebrating you and clapping like, that's my boy, like he's going to do it. And that's really what this performance is about, and you being successful because you just want to make her proud. She's a good person, and she prays for you a lot. I don't know if she expresses that, but there's a prayer that she keeps in her heart to keep you safe all the time. And I just see her looking at God and thanking, having so much gratitude for you. Your mom, she loves you a lot. I see that, and there's a sense of just, I want him to belong. I want him to find his fit. And I want him to find success and happiness, and that's just what most mothers want. But specifically, it's actually, as much as you're getting success for yourself, there's this pressure upon you that I'm getting success for my mother.
Can I say something?
Of course.
Go
Listen,
ahead.
all right, so we're at the top of the hour. We're definitely going to come back. All right, right now you're listening to Jacques. We are going to have to slow it down with me and you and Hennessy, okay? On WKRP 90.3.
I sure could use a drink.